here. Hello. Thank you all. Who here thinks that it's important to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Who here believes that he fought for equal rights for all humankind? Who here believes that his work was important and should be remembered? Well, you know what? That's called fidelity. Belief in a cause, faithfulness, or a person. So we all have fidelity. That's what we kind of have in common. So thank you all for coming. Love is beautiful, like the bluest sky when it's lit by the sun. So are my dreams, which plow into the depth of us as one. I want to be with him. He is my sapphire, my indigo, my blues. Keeping our company sacred, I never regret it. Affection beget it. The life of a wife next to God is the man, his heart, and the plan. The cobalt shines, and the navy inspires us, like music, blues. Who here knows the importance of music in the 60s? Battle Hymn of the Republic was actually written in 1861 by Julia Howe. Who here knows who Julia Howe is? We got a school named right after her on 13th and Grange. Julia Howe Elementary School. She wrote Battle Hymn of the Republic because she was an abolitionist and so was her husband. They were caught between the North and the South. Now, I bring up that song and we chose that to open with because 100 years later, there was another civil rights movement. Remember, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation January 1st, 1863. So now let's go. January 1st, 1963, and what are they out there doing? Fighting against Jim Crow and inequality and unequal housing. So that's why Battle Hymn of the Republic is important. Okay. Going to another book. This is called, I'm going to read some poetry from Love Songs Spoken. I'm reading the ones that are, that are relevant to Dr. King. The first one that I'm going to read is called Real People. Y'all can play some more if y'all want. While I play. I thought it was cool, them playing in the background. It was kind of all right. What's another song on it? Yeah, I'll keep that in the back of my. Real people. I love real people. They care about the moon and stars. It doesn't matter where you are in life if you are real people. Money does not define you nor the way people see you because they see you for real, authentic, actual, concrete, and factual. Real people listen. They draft plans, bills, demands, and basic rights to life and the land. Cash averted. Real people detest the pain of the world's strife, not just talking, but doing things to improve the quality of life. I love the way real people are, proud of who they are, tangibility, reciprocity, embracing unadulterated transference, feels wonderful and fine, inspiring what is aspired with passion, being solid, lucid, and simply divine. Real people are translucent, whereas fake people are not genuine. They are opaque, deceptive, obscure, interceptive, selfish, and pretending. But I like fake people too, because even when they are being fake, they are being real, because they're really fake. And I love real people. This is called Lives and Love Lost. Kind of reminds me of looking up the sky, and it makes me think of the Underground Railroad. And I mean, how many people can look up in the sky and see which way to get home here in Germantown? You know where the North Star is? That part. Can you find your way to Jersey by looking at the North Star? I don't know. This is called Lives and Love Lost. And it's a tribute to people who were lost, trying to either go back to Africa or fight for freedom. Imagine laying on the ground in the darkness. You don't know where to go. You have no money, no food. You're afraid that you're going to be caught and lynched. I look to the sky, the heavens, the night, and I think of our ancestors and their plight. Love our country, the depths of souls and hearts singing, speaking, pay what is owed. Pain and disbelief, part of the art, will not be troubled by such love songs. A part of my life grew up wailing, saw nothing wrong, besides people who were singing much louder love songs. Sing my trouble, so I sing and clap. I'm free, melodic, can't breathe, dance and tap, and make it sound soft and pretty, poetically urgent and proud as I sing for thee. Reparations, justice, statues, and love. These songs and bronze figures are my proof of reparations owed. A crime's been committed. And these songs and poems and statues are how I'll deal with it. That's Lives and Loves Lost. Oh, it's purple. The next poem I'm going to read is called Black Daddy. I wrote this poem as a tribute to my own father. See, to understand my poetry, you have to realize I'm a child of the 60s. I grew up in the 60s. In 1960, I think I turned 1. So it's almost like I was on this cusp of something great or different, or, it just put a radical sense to me. And so my father had children. My dad is my keeper. I shall not forget the discipline I once in life used to get. He helped shape and mold me like a beautiful violet, deep set in the heart of honeysuckle, offset by my salient black image. You must interpret my wisdom and strength. I am the world's best facet. My dad is my idol in times of child fear, of hurt by another, and moments of drear. I'm ready to wrangle, if that's what it takes, to let you know that this girl's life, you can't make. My dad gives me strength in an eminent way, yielding knowledge and insight I'll use every day. My dad is the heart of my strength, courage, and fearlessness. Rest in peace, my father, George Luther Hankins. Okay, now I'll read a poem called Our Youth. In our time of frustration and great demand, you know, it seems that our youth today can't seem to understand. No insight that for every silent moment we all have to give, there's an hour too. We have one life to live. If we liveth and giveth to our fullest extent, and we all understand that for life and love, what reason life is meant. Our youth could unite with capacity, determination, and our youth could let love be their one obligation. But our youth are no discipline with no self-respect. There is hatred and shame, jealousy and neglect, addicts and dropouts and bitter young mothers, misunderstandings and fights with each other. The people around us have little concern. They don't care enough. No big interest to have our youth problems adjourned. Though we thinketh and dreameth to our fullest extent, we must instill what reason life is meant. How many people remember the Woolworth or being in a restaurant at the counters, being beaten and abused? And, you know, we saw it. We saw it in books. We saw it in movies, people being beat up. To have that kind of resilience, woo. You know, Dr. King was in charge of the Nonviolent Student Association. And it's interesting because in the 60s, we had multiple civil rights movements. We had the Dr. King followers. Now, what we got to understand about Dr. King is that he was extraordinary. He was brilliant. He was different from any man that, you know, that was actually an activist back then. And I say that because he was an author, okay? How many people here have read a book by Dr. King? Not about him, by him. A lot of people don't know that he wrote books. So, anyway, he wrote nonviolent speeches and things to inspire college students to not fight, to not, to endure the abuse that was being afflicted upon them. This is called The Stones You Throw. If you dislike me, despise me, want to destroy me because I am black and beautiful, you can throw stones, bricks, and dirt, or you can hide behind a painted smile, revealing jealousy and envy. And I might miss it because I'm too busy seeing you as a person like me. I treat you, a person, with respect, truth, honesty. Your smile is filled with hurt, disappointment, anger, and dying, trusting, impatience with yourself. You bring miles between fairness and the law with your selfish ways, which confirm your true roots of evilness and fleshly desires, your greed, deceitfulness, criminal roots, all shame humanity. I'll continue to radiate blackness and beauty, peace, love, fighting for justice, fighting for equality. The stones you throw won't hurt me. That's just called The Stones You Throw. Okay. This next one is called The Law. And the reason why I want to share this poem is because How many people here grew up or still think that the law is about doing the right thing? Is it about, doing what's best for humanity? Is it about righting a wrong? Raise your hand, you think that that's what the law? I used to think that. I used to think until I witnessed so much. Like back then in 1863, think about those laws. Were they based on doing the right thing? Were they based on humanity? Were they based on a value system that respected each other? And these were actual laws. Okay, so that was 1863. 1963, we had Jim Crow, a whole new set of laws. So that's what Dr. King was about. He fought against laws, Jim Crow. So after witnessing, I witnessed people be incarcerated even today for crimes that they say they haven't committed, or there is inadequate evidence to prove that they did. I kid you not, I had my cousin, one time my cousin called me. He said, "Can you get me? I'm calling you," because I'm the one that would answer the phone. He said, "I'm locked up. I'm at CFCF. I'm like, "What did you do?" He said, "Nothing." I'm like, "Look, you had to do something. Nobody locked you up for nothing." He said, "I don't know." He said, "I didn't do anything. I promise you I didn't do anything." I said, "Okay." I said, "Call me back when you get another chance to make a call." So I called CFCF. I tell them who I am. I said, "You have my cousin in custody." I said, "Can you tell me what he's being held for?" And so they said, "Hold on." They left me on hold. They came back. "What's his name again?" I gave him his name. And then they said, "We don't see any charges listed." I said, "Do you see that he's in custody?" They said, "Yes." I said, "Well, what is he in custody for?" And they said, "I don't know." I said, "How can you lock somebody up? And you're telling me you don't know?" I said, and they said, "Call us back," or, "Call back and check with us." A couple hours later, I get a phone call, and it's my cousin outside CFCF asking me, can I come pick him up? I said, "Oh, they let you go?" He said, "Yeah, they let me go. They gave me a token, but the bus is not running this time of the night." I'm like, okay, now I done seen it all. Anyway, the law. The law was fairness, justice, morals, human values for all. But now, are these related to the law at all? Principles, truth, righteousness, ethics, and integrity. Is there any link at all that we can see? Remember this. The law is any written or positive rule or collection of rules prescribed under the authority of a state of motion. It's a set of policies recognized and enforced by the judicial system. Their notion, rules, principles of proper conduct, sanctioned by man's conscience, concepts of natural justice. The law is always breaking up families, claiming a goal to bust us, mainly us. The law is a mathematical rule, a manner of behavior that is instinctive, spontaneous, such as the law of self-preservation. The law was written by man and is based on policies, contracts, procedures, miseducation. Remember, the law was written by men, women, a culture, a government, based on greed, selfishness, and slavery. Rules changed, misinterpreted, phrased for convenience and injustice. Also, the law is written in stone for some, but not for everyone. The law is benefiting some while killing some. Fairness, justice, morals, values. Are they related to the law? Principles, truth, righteousness, ethics, and integrity. Somebody tell me, is there any link at all? What is the law? And that's the law. Thank you. Okay, it is 20 of the people that signed in. Where is it? Oh, it's in this book. Okay, my last poem, I'm going to close out. Well, first, okay, wait, before we do Battle Hymn, I want to tell y'all to please acknowledge the books on the table. Okay? Those are books that are written by Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife, Coretta Scott King. She was no slouch. She was really an amazing woman. One of the first black people to attend Antioch College. And she majored in music. That's probably why I can kind of relate to Mrs. King. So, let me see. Hold up. I got so many books, so many papers going on. So I'm finished with this book. These cards are here. Okay. Before I do my last poem, I want to just bring up what I call points to ponder. Dr. King organized meetings, marches, and nonviolent protests against inequality and the evil system of racism and Jim Crow. He cared about eradicating racism, and that is characteristic of a person that cares about other people. His accomplishments and his level of professionalism took courage. Remember, he was born in 1929. He started college at 15 years old. He married Coretta Scott King when he was 24 years old. So his life was just moving so fast, but his book, he was assassinated when he was 39. How many people in here are under 39? 39 and under. Okay, how many people here are over 39? How many people here have written a book? How many people have written 2 books? 3 books? Okay, now, think about it. So I've written 4 books. I wouldn't say that they're the level of this scholarly, academic production, but, mine are poetry, simple, and one is called Womanizing a Gentleman, where I put funny stories in here about womanizing and being a gentleman. And so I bring that up because look at all the books he authored, and he was assassinated at 39. So when those FBI files are released, I'm going to be looking at, I want to know if Dr. King was right-handed or left-handed. I want to know what he wrote with, how he kept his notes. How did he do this and be assassinated at age 39? How did he moved and he spoke so eloquently. He wrote speeches and sermons and, Strength to Love is a book that has all of his speeches in it. I want to know how he did all that. So as we honor him, and we're waiting on these files, that's what I'm going to be looking at. That's one of the things. So, kudos to the accomplishments of Dr. King and Mrs. King. Their fidelity, their commitments and contributions to attaining equal rights for the Negro changed the world. And I say the Negro because when you read his books, all you see, the Negro cannot buy a house. He's denied access to loans. The Negro is discriminated against. The Negro has to use the colored-only bathroom. The Negro is not allowed to go to restaurants. It's over and over again. So when you talk about Dr. King, it's clear where his commitment was. It's clear what his purpose was. All right, let me see. Is there anything else that I wanted to say? I said that Mrs. King. Oh, okay. So he got his PhD. Dr. King. He got his PhD, and I want us to envision. How did he do that? We got the internet. I can whip out my phone and go. When I go to the Flying Horse tomorrow, I need to set up the table. Okay. How did he do that? He didn't have an iPhone. He didn't have, he just, and then get up there and crushed his speeches. He just crushed them because he spoke from his heart. And he also did a lot. Battle him. And we're back to battle him because that is a big part of his final speech. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, power. He saw the vision. And that was his last speech, one of his last speeches. The power of MLK. Can't deny the power of MLK. Changing the world is what they say made him famous, infamous, loved, and hated. MLK. He cared for humanity. Deep down inside, knowing the need for his queen's approval, society perusal, resisting dynasty removal, nature. Balance was the focus. Embracing the humble man, loved him. Ferocious to fight for his people, not let them down. He could if he wanted to. However, found to rock the world's evil, malice, contempt, shaken to the core, selfish, exempt. King, a mental state, prevailing mind. Good in the world is what he brings and finds, sparking justice, awareness, peacefully, Mayat achieving so brilliantly, knowledge, integrity, gracefully, blessings received thankfully. The essence of kings like MLK, and of course his queen, his legacy, his power, mean everything today. Thank you.